Hello once again, dear viewers. You're watching ERi-TV. Welcome to our news broadcast. Here are the headlines. One patient receiving medical treatment for COVID-19 in hospital in Central Region recovers. Independence Week commences in Central Region. Iraq hit by another sandstorm. Baghdad airport closes airspace. Mali withdraws from the regional anti-jihadist force G5 Sahel. Announcement from the Ministry of Health. One patient who has been receiving medical treatment in hospital in the Central Region has recovered fully and has been discharged from the facility. The total number of recovered patients has accordingly increased to 9,633, while the number of deaths stands at 103. The total number of confirmed cases in the country to date stands at 9,745. Ministry of Health, Asmara, 16 May 2022. Schools Independence Week commences today, 16 May, at the Asmara Comprehensive School under the theme Independent Choice, Backbone of Our Pride. The governor of the Central Region, Mr. Fasai Haile, opened the week with photo exhibition depicting Independence Day, indicating that the Independence Week is an occasion in which the progress of educational activities is reflected and a forum for transferring the glorious history of the Eritrean people to the young generation. Mr. Balai Habtagabr, head of the Ministry of Education branch in the Central Region, said that the program will continue until 23 May and students from 281 secondary schools will participate. According to Mr. Balai, the program will include cultural programs depicting the unity and diversity of the Eritrean people and the heroic feat the Eritrean people demonstrated and the heavy sacrifices paid. Pointing out that the Independence Week is part and parcel of the Independence Day celebrations, Ms. Sitom Saeed, Administrator of Paradiso Subzone, said that the program will have significant contribution in transferring the candid history of the Eritrean people to posterity. The event was highlighted with photo exhibition as well as cultural and artistic programs. The social service provision institutions put in place in the Northern Red Sea region in the past 31 years of independence have been significantly contributing in the improvement of the livelihoods of the public. The comment was made by Mr. Razana Fissaha, Director General of Social Service in the region, at the occasion organized in connection with the 31st Independence Day celebrations. Regarding health service, Mr. Razana said that the number of health facilities that was limited to a few areas before independence have expanded to 46 health stations, ranging from referral hospital to health stations providing commendable health service to the public. The number of educational facilities have increased from 28 to 445, and the number of students from about 7,000 to over 62,000. Mr. Razana added, with regards to transportation and communications, Mr. Razana said that the Asmara Masawa Foro and Gahtala Shi'ib asphalt roads have been renovated, and Masawa Gulbub, Masawa Asab, as well as Adghayah Foro dirt roads have been constructed and were improved steps in the development and expansion of transportation services. Mr. Razana also said that the expansion of mobile telephone service has also significantly contributed in the development of communication service in the region. Mr. Razana also called for reinforced participation in the villages, regrouping and settlement of efforts with a view to enable residents that lead nomadic and pastoralist lifestyles become beneficiaries of social service provisions. Elections for area administrators and managing directors were conducted in Golij subzone from 22 to 27 April, according to Mr. Desier Zamikael, administrator of the subzone. At the elections conducted in the administrative areas of Tabaldia, Gurjef, Hajar, Kacharo, Ashagila, Engulit, Gurset, Adal, and Mangula. 11 area administrators, including 2 women and 10 managing directors, were elected. Mr. Dessier further said that in all the villages of the subzone, 72 village coordinators were elected, and he called the newly elected to serve the people that elected them with dedication. The newly elected area administrators, managing directors and village coordinators expressed readiness to serve the people who elected them diligently and strengthen contribution in the successful implementation of development programs in the subzone. That was our domestic news. Please stay tuned for the international right after a short break. The latest heavy sandstorm to hit Iraq has forced some schools and offices to close, while flights at Baghdad airport have also been suspended. The Education Ministry and other offices declared Monday a day off for local government institutions, with the exception of health services. According to medical officials, hundreds of people across Baghdad and southern cities went to hospitals with breathing difficulties. Baghdad International Airport said in a statement that it was closing its airspace and halting all flights until further notice because of low visibility. The Iraq news agency reported that airports in Najaf and Sulaymaniyah were also closed for the day. It is the eighth dust storm since mid-April to hit Iraq, which has been battered by soil degradation, intense droughts, and low rainfall linked to climate change. The latest one earlier this month led to the death of one person, while 5,000 others had to be hospitalized for respiratory problems. Iraq is prone to seasonal sandstorms, but experts and officials are raising the alarm over their frequency in recent years, which they say is exacerbated by record low rainfall, desertification, and climate change. The World Bank has warned that Iraq could potentially suffer a 20% drop in water resources by 2050. Mali's junta announced Sunday it will quit a West African anti-jihadist force after it was blocked from assuming the presidency of the regional group. The country's departure from the G5 Sahel Security Force deepens its isolation after its neighbors hit it with sanctions in January over perceived foot-dragging in restoring civilian rule. Mali's diplomatic relations with Western allies, including former colonial power France, have also deteriorated, especially over its recent rapprochement with Russia. Earlier this month, UN Chief Antonio Guterres said political instability and human rights violations in Mali and Burkina Faso were undermining the Sahel's anti-jihadist operations and called for returning power to civilians as soon as possible. But Mali's junta claims it is a victim of politicking. The G5 Sahel, which also includes Mauritania, Chad, Burkina Faso, and Niger, launched in 2014 with an anti-jihadist force added in 2017. Mali is struggling under sanctions imposed by other West African countries over the military's decision to retain power following multiple coups. The violence gripping Mali since 2012 has involved attacks by jihadists linked to Al-Qaeda and the so-called Islamic State group, but also an assortment of self-declared militias and bandits. Please stay tuned now for a recap of tonight's headlines. One person receiving medical treatment for COVID-19 in hospitals in Central Region recovers. Independence Week commences in Central Region. Iraq hit by another sandstorm. Baghdad airport closes airspace. Mali withdraws from the regional anti-jihadist force G5 Sahel. And that was our news for tonight, dear viewers. It is good night from us.